Blog Talk Radio.
Writing your book is the easy part. Promoting your book so readers can find and purchase it is the hard part. Welcome to the Author Chat Show, hosted by author-publisher Lynda T Blount. Follow us at www.facebook.com/authorchat. And to contact the show to promote your book, contact me at theauthorchatshow@gmail.com. Stay tuned and listen to today's show.
Good morning and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the Author Chat Show. I'm your host, Belinda T Blount. My guest today is author Gary Chatman. Gary will be chatting with me about his new book scheduled for release in 2016, My Child Left Behind. We'll be right back to chat with Gary about his book after a word from today's sponsor.
PrimeStar Publicity and Public Relations is a full-service firm ready to fill the needs of their clients. Owner Helen Cook has more than 32 years of publicity, public relations, advertising, and marketing experience, and she focuses her professional talents on working with her clients' strengths to create customized, strategic campaigns, whether their needs are great or small. Radio, TV, print, internet, publicity, marketing, creating a social media presence, branding, client positioning, author tours, speaking events. These are just some of the services PrimeStar provides for their clients. For a complete list of services and other information about the company, please visit our website, www.primestarpublicity.com, or email Helen at helen.cook@primestarpublicity.com, or phone 903-654-0938. PrimeStar's home office is located in the Houston, Texas area.
All right, excuse me, and welcome back to the show. For those of you just tuning in, my guest today is author Gary Chatman. Gary will be chatting with me about his book, My Child Left Behind. Gary is a retired teacher/administrator for the New York City public school system, and he's the author of 5 published books. This is Gary's first time on the Author Chat Show. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
It's a pleasure to have you on the show, Gary. Since this is your first time on our show, why don't we get started by you telling us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, that would take a long time. I'll try and summarize. As you mentioned, I'm a retired teacher administrator with the New York City public school system. I am an author. I have 5 published books, one about bar mitzvah without the boring Hebrew school, one, The Quixotic Teacher, tells of my teaching career, and 3 others. This is my labor of life, this book, My Child Left Behind, because I tutor, every now and then now. I do concerts. I'm a pianist, a professional pianist. I play around the metropolitan area, and I work with kids. And this book is a tell-all about how bad education in America in 2015 really is.
Mm-hmm. Your book, as I mentioned before you came on the show, Gary, this is a very timely program with this new school year getting started. We have had some serious problems with the public school system, everywhere. It's not just in the New York area, it's everywhere. The first thing that comes to my mind are the teachers from Atlanta, Georgia, that were actually fired and jailed for cheating on the standardized testing. Are you familiar with that incident,
Yes,
and what do you think about that?
I think it's horrible. I think the reason, if you'll notice the news reports even today, there is a terrible teacher shortage in America all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is simply people don't want to go into teaching because you're no longer a teacher. You're accountable to the Danielson teaching rubric about standardized testing from the Pearson Company. Now, the Pearson Company is a company located in England with a subsidiary in America, and this company controls us. It's been called in my book, I quote the author, an octopus. It owns everything. It owns Scantron. It owns the GED. It owns all standardized testing materials, books. And to be a teacher today, you don't teach to teach. You don't teach with a heart. You teach with a curriculum formulated in Washington, D.C. by 27 people, none of whom ever taught in their lives. Under the dictates of Arne Duncan, who's the head of education in America, who sends his kids to private schools. He's an idiot. You know, I voted for Obama twice with the hope that he'd change things. Instead of what's happened, No Child Left Behind under George Idiot Bush has now become Race to the Top, which is Obama and Duncan's plan to give money to the states who were hurting in 2008 because of the Bush recession and bribe them to implement this insane Common Core. Now, my assertion, and I have proof in my book, the Common Core exists because the Gates Foundation wants to control education in America. Now, if this were fascist Italy under Mussolini or Hitler's Germany, then you'd say, well, look, the state is dictatorial. It controls education. However, we're in America, the land of the free, the home of the brave, and the land where the Gates Foundation controls education in America. They have given money to everybody. The Pearson Corporation is a Gates subsidiary. The Danielson teaching rubric, which is nonsense, is a Gates subsidiary. It's controlled by the Gates Foundation and the federal government. Now, I am not a Republican. I've never been a Republican. We hear states' rights. Yay, yay, yay. Where are the states' rights in this when the federal government gives a dictate that kids in Scarsdale, New York, learn as well as kids in Watts, California, or in Waco, Texas? The curriculum is all powerful. Teachers have to teach it. And it doesn't matter if your kids are learning disabled, are physically disabled, have ADHD or other learning problems. They learn the same material that somebody who lives in a very wealthy district in the United States learns. It's ridiculous. Children are not robots. You have to teach, as I mentioned, with a heart. Then they take the Danielson standardized tests based on this ridiculous Common Core. And doesn't rate the children. It rates the schools. And if the schools do good, then the federal government gives them more money. And then a man like Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York, who hopefully soon will be indicted, gets to use these funds to create charter schools. Well, I don't know what they mean. I don't know what they're for. I guess, you know, with the $4.8 million he got from hedge funds, I guess the bribe was good enough for him to promote this nonsense. Now, the Danielson rubric for teacher evaluation, a teacher's evaluated, get this, an English teacher's evaluated on how well a student does on the test. It doesn't matter if the student can't take tests. It doesn't matter if the student has learning disabilities, as I mentioned. The teacher evaluation comes from those stupid tests. And don't forget, it's also important that a teacher be evaluated by an outside person. Yeah,
wow.
Somebody else who doesn't know the teacher comes into school and evaluates the teacher's work, teaching this nonsensical Common Core that is tested on the standardized tests from Danielson. I like it in my book to any governor of the United States, Walker or Cuomo I mentioned, or Christie, who is also beholden to all these Gates Foundation benefits, being evaluated by a plumber.
Wow.
All of the education system in America is terrible. It is terrible. 27% of New York students are proficient in math and English. After 7 years of Common Core and 7 years of the Pearson standardized tests, we are failing our kids.
Exactly. Now, Gary, just to be clear, and so my listeners will have a clear view of what we're discussing here. Now, when you mention the Gates Foundation, you are talking Bill and Melinda Gates, the Microsoft founders.
Them.
Is that correct?
Them. Yeah, them.
Them, okay.
I refer to
all
it
right.
as them.
As
Their
them, okay.
tentacles. Yeah. In my book, Mrs. Brown, in my book, I have listed every group to which the Gates Foundation has given money to. It's all on the public record. So it's all true. I'm not just talking off the top of my head. I'm not making things up. It's there. My question to America is simply, why do you stand for it? Why? Your children are so precious. And
right. That is
luckily,
Gary,
I'm sorry.
Gary, that is a great question. So let's talk about that.
Yes, ma'am.
What is it that the unions are doing to try to deflect this ongoing problem with the standardized testing?
Well, some of the unions, if you pardon my French, are in the pocket of the Gates and Pearson companies.
Okay.
I have proof. This is not something I'm saying off the top of my head. Luckily, Randy Weingarten, who's the head of the American Federation of Teachers, told parents last April, opt out of the tests. This is a movement to keep kids from taking these ridiculous, stupid tests. The movement is growing. My guess is by next year, 50% of parents will opt out. The problem today, and I say this in my book, parents work. Let's just take a normal family, if it's normal at all. Parents work. The mother works, the father works. In a single-parent home, one of the parents works. The grandparent works. Kids who have no parents have no influence on them. So when do parents have time to say, hey, Junior, hey, George W., hey, Barack, hey, Hillary, hey, Jeb, how'd you do in school today? Yeah, they don't have time for this. And a child will normally answer, I learned nothing. Nothing happened. And in today's America, that's exactly true. Now, you take music, art, phys ed, drama, which I was a drama specialist. There's no time for this stuff. You have to get rid of it in each and every school in America so that children will have time to study and be taught over and over again how to take a test.
How to take a test.
It's like the SAT. You know, are you smart enough to go to college? Sure, I got a 90 grade in high school. That's my GPA is really high. How'd you do on the SAT? I did very poorly. You're not college material. I won't say the word that I would think of to say. It's a bull word, and it ends with something that rhymes with hit.
Exactly.
The SAT is in no way an evaluation of how a kid does in college. Just like these standardized tests are in no way a recognition of how smart or the potential of any child.
Right. So Gary, what's your solution? What do you think would be the best way to combat this growing problem with the standardized test?
Okay, well, Rob Astorino, who's the county executive of Westchester. My wife and I met with him in June. He asked me to put together a panel beginning in September to discuss ways to change these things. Now, he opted out his children from the test. They did not take the test. Andrew Cuomo's kids are too old. Barack Obama's kids never took standardized tests or took the Common Core. They go to private schools. Arnie Duncan's kids go to private schools. Okay, so all these people who formulate the Common Core and standardized testing and the stupid Danielson rubric send their kids to private schools. Isn't that amazing? If they thought the program was so good, send them to regular schools. But that's different. My idea for changing things is a teacher, as I was when I taught and when I was an administrator evaluating teachers, you're evaluated by the people who know you. You're evaluated by your principal, your assistant principal, and your peers. You know, all I have to do is walk down the hall of a school and look in a classroom. I know who's a good teacher. I know who's a bad teacher. It takes me 2 minutes, but I know the teacher. If what's his name, Donald Trump, comes to my school and walks into my school and then walks into a classroom and evaluates Hillary Clinton, he doesn't know Hillary. His evaluation is bull, and I'll use the same word I used before. It's nonsense.
Right.
Get rid of the Common Core immediately. You want a set of guidelines for teaching, then each district in the United States should meet its teachers, its staff, its administrators, and formulate goals that should be reached in each subject, leaving the freedom of how to teach these goals and leaving the freedom of what to teach to the teachers. I'll give you an example. I taught years ago in a school, a high school, and it was called Vanderchild High School. It's still there.
Okay.
The kids who I taught were predominantly minority. I'm Jewish, okay? Most of the teachers in New York are white. Some are Jewish. Some are black. Some are, African American. That's correct. And some are Latino. The kids who I taught, the high school kids at the time, thought that Jews had horns and thought that Jews were money grubbing. All the Hitlerian stereotypes. With my own money, and I was making peanuts at the time, went and I bought a set of 30 books of Elie Wiesel's Night, which is the story of his tribulations in a concentration camp and the death of his father under the Nazis. We read the book in school. The kids got an education. They learned that all Jews weren't bad. They learned to have some humanity for other people. And they read a tremendously good book under Common Core. Forget it. That would be thrown in the garbage. When I was in Truman High School in the Bronx, which I still call my alma mater, I ran theater programs for children from the high school. 1,000 kids, 2,000 kids in my tenure there. I also linked up with the junior high schools, and the junior high school kids were sent into my high school program, and the elementary schools that fed the schools were in my drama program. And I put shows on. And my criteria for the kids being in my plays was simple. Go to school. You must be in school because schools have a tremendously high dropout rate. My criteria was get good grades to be in this program. And I succeeded because of my theater programs. And my kids learned not only my subject, but they learned social studies and they learned science and math because they were in school to learn these things. Under the Common Core in 2015, under standardized testing, and even the Danielson stupid rubric, there would be no room for these programs at all. All we're interested in today is teaching to the test. And teachers today are scared. They don't want to say anything because they're evaluated. I know of one teacher, particularly. His job is, you teach the Common Core during the day, your kids take their standardized tests, you go to meetings with your peers, these are mandated meetings. You take extra subjects to make you more intelligent. And you have to be nice to your principal under the Danielson rubric. Under no way does this make this person a special teacher. It makes this teacher a part of a herd of cattle. And the kids coming out are stupid. First of all, you asked me for change. Get rid of the Common Core. Throw out the standardized testing. Teachers should be evaluated by peers and their principals and assistant principals. And kids should be taught plumbing. And kids should be taught electricity to become electricians. What happened to the high schools? Do you know an electrician makes more than a teacher? You know when a plumber comes in to fix my plumbing, he's making more per hour than I ever made in my entire life. Where are the vocational schools? They have disappeared because we're under this dictate of the Gates Foundation and Obama's race to the top and Bush's No Child Left Behind. My book is subtitled, My Child Left Behind, How Government Standardization is Corrupting Our Most Valuable Resource. And it is. And another thing children don't learn today is values. They're not taught at home by and large. You know, love your fellow man. Don't shoot up a classroom. Don't steal like a lot of politicians do. Don't hurt another individual. Who's your senator? Who's the president? Who do you write to if you need help? Who's your representative? The students I teach privately, I might as well be talking Chinese. This is not taught in school. Why? The concentration is on these tests and this stupid Common Core. I apologize. I talk a lot.
No problem. I love your passion. Do you believe the reason that they're so involved in these testing, Gary, is because they, and this might sound like a conspiracy theory, but because they're interested in creating what we call worker bees and not somebody that can go out and think outside the box and start their own company. Do you what do you think is? Do you think that's what the issue is here?
It is one of the issues, but I apologize for saying this, and I hope people hear me. Money. John King, who used to be in charge of education in New York, implemented the Common Core before the Common Core existed, before it was made up by these 27 individuals in Washington. John King went to Washington. He works now for Arnie Duncan, and he makes over $3 million a year. All of the people associated with Common Core all of a sudden are making millions of dollars. Lisa Furman, who's in charge of Pearson in America, made $3.2 million salary last year.
Oh, wow.
You take a look at all these corporations, and even Hillary Clinton. I mean, I'd really be happy if there was a woman president. But what the devil? She's for the Common Core. She's for standardized testing. And her corporation has taken money from Gates. And Christie has taken money from Gates. And Walker is beholden to the Koch brothers. And Christie's beholden to Zuckerberg. Money. The only person who doesn't need money is Donald Trump. And I don't know who he's beholden to. I'm sorry. So there's a money trail here. You know, I mentioned Mario Cuomo, who is, if you pardon me, I won't spit on the air. But Mario Cuomo, not Mario, oh, God forbid, Mario was a good one. Andrew was the idiot. Andrew will be going to prison. I'm sure of it.
Right.
He disbanded the Moreland Commission in New York, and he's pushing this teacher evaluation plan that $4.3 billion of hedge fund contributions should help him decide which way to vote and which way to push.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in education 2015 has money involved. People have been bought. States have been bought by the federal government because, as I mentioned before, because of the Bush recession in 2008. States lost a lot of money. They needed money. Mm-hmm. So Obama and Duncan come in and say, hey, let's race to the top. If you take the Common Core, if you take standardized testing, we'll give you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And then if your schools take these tests and rate very high, you'll get more money. Wow. I wish they'd come to me and say, Gary Chatman, if you write this book, we'll give you a couple of $1 million.
Exactly.
Nobody's knocking at my door. And to be honest with you, ma'am, I can't be bribed. These people have been and would be. I mean, Jeb Bush of the Bush dynasty, he has a whole program of standardized testing. And who could vote for these people? You know, I mean, this is America 2015. Is there an honest politician? Is there an honest person who thinks that education has to be revamped? Because we're so far behind Sweden and Japan and China and Russia. I mean, where are we going to be in 15, 20 years?
Exactly.
I'm sure a lot of people will be rich, though.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
A lot of people will be rich.
Know, it's really an eye-opener, Gary, especially when you look at the state of America today and all the chaos that we see going forth. To know that our children are not getting what they really need to be competitive in this global market is really scary. Because, like I said, to me, it's what we're basically teaching in school is basically just how to be an employee, how to always work for someone else, and that's just not the American way. We have truly lost our way somewhere, and I'm just not quite sure. Sure, go ahead.
I apologize for interrupting you, but we've lost our way because people like money. People like money. People need money. You know, some people aren't satisfied, like Trump again. He has $10 million. That's what he says. Then they say he has $3 million. He's unhappy. $3 billion. Sorry about that. You never have enough of the green stuff. So look, if it means like Cuomo making sure that the education system in New York fails, if you get money for doing that, what do you care? Obama, you know, I really like the man, but with this situation, he's off. You know, the idea of race to the top of what? No Child Left Behind. That's why my book is called My Child Left Behind. It could be every child left behind. Children need heart. They have to be taught by teachers who have heart. They have to be taught how to be productive in the world, as you said, if they want to be electricians or if they want to be plumbers, if they want to be thespians, if they want to be musicians, if they want to learn about something specific. That's not in the curriculum, then you teach that, and that becomes part of education. Education today in 2015 is horrific.
Wow. Believe it or not, that's our show for today, Gary. Wow, you definitely have given us something to think about. And we're really looking forward to your book coming out. So you're thinking early spring 2016, your book might be released?
Yes. I'm going to write to Donald Trump for some money, and I'll write to all these people I mentioned. Maybe they'll subsidize it so the book will come out sooner.
Okay. And what publisher are you going with?
I have no idea yet. My agent is shopping the book.
just shopping the book around. Okay, great.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, again, thank you so much for coming on the show and sharing your story with us, your passion, and we really appreciate the fact that you're out here fighting for the children. Not a lot of people out here that are doing that, so we really commend you for what it is that you're doing to try to get this information out to the masses so that they will understand that there is a real crisis in our school district. And unfortunately, it seems to be created by the people that are actually in charge of making sure our children get everything that they need, and apparently that doesn't appear to be the case. So, again, thank you so much for coming on the show and chatting with us about this.
You're an angel.
Not a problem. Oh, anytime, Gary. Thank you so much, and we'll look forward to talking to you again when the book actually comes out, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Bye-bye.
You too.
Okay, so that was author Gary Chatman. Again, the title of his book, My Child Left Behind. This book is scheduled for a spring 2016 release date. Great information if you're a parent or an educator out there about the standardized testing and the issues and problems that a lot of the teachers and administrators are having with them using this test as a goldenrod, so to speak. Well, thank you so much for joining us on the Wednesday edition of the Author Chat Show. We'll catch you right back here on Saturday. So enjoy the rest of your Wednesday. Goodbye.